Bingo, there you go. It's your boy Glenn Lawrence. I'm back with the Blerd Dad Podcast, and I'm very, very excited. Look at that. I got to push up in so you can see my face nice and clearly if you're watching. If you're just listening to this, it was a pause for effect. But I'm very excited about the guest that we are going to have here today. So excited. I'm using the serious cam very early on in the episode. Boom. Once again, dramatic pause for effect. But this is the Blerd Dad Podcast, a space where we like to have unfiltered conversations and nerd out about fatherhood and just parenthood in general. You know what I mean? My angle is as a father, but there are other people who have great perspective on this thing, such as the guest we're going to have today, who is none other than the amazing, illustrious, awesome Davine Kerr. But before we do that, I got to give a shout out to my sponsors, because they are incredible. They always make sure that your pet is laced up in the finest gear and fashion. That's right. Once again, it's theymademewearit. They are our sponsors for today. It's a husband and wife team, and they're on a mission to help your pet discover their fashionable side. So whether it's an awesome Halloween costume, adorable dress, comfy jammies, whatever, I don't know, designer gown, scarf, socks, booties, anklets. They can do anklets, you know what I mean? Necklaces, anything you want, they can hold you down with it. They made me wear it. They're amazing. They will have your pet in the latest fashion. It's incredible what they do. The other thing that they do is that they actually give a little bit of their proceeds to Hope for Paws, which is an animal rescue organization that works tirelessly to rescue and save the lives of abandoned animals. So I don't know what you're waiting for. You should already be on the theymademewearit page. Don't navigate away from us. Keep listening to us, but go to that page and check them out. Get some nice gear for your pet and use code word BLERD for 15% off at checkout. That is a very generous discount, and I love it. And also, by the way, we are looking for a sponsor that does haircuts. We're looking for a barber to be our sponsors. As you can tell, my lineup is not as crispy as it could be. So if you wanted to sponsor us and you're a barber, holler at us. We will take care of you. All it's going to cost you is one haircut every 3 months. Is that how often I do it? So if you're a barber out there, you're looking for some promotion, we got a whole ad package for you. You know what I mean? We'll read your copy. I can read it to the letter, or I can ad lib a little bit, which I was not doing what They Made Me Wear. That was everything that they wrote. Everything that they said, anklets and all, was 100% their copy. Anyway, without further ado, I got to get into who the awesome guest is today. It's Davine Kerr. She is a trilingual stand-up comedian and multidisciplinary artist. That means she is disciplined in many things. Her art emerges from thought-provoking jokes, left field concepts, and unique storytelling that bridges culture, comedy, and music. She headlines throughout the DC area and is also performing as a featured comedian in comedy clubs and festivals in New York City to LA to Montreal, Canada. She's all over the place. She's done the International Laugh Comedy Festival, Mouse Story Slam winner, Funny Bone Comedy Nest, Kennedy Center, Amazon Prime, everywhere. She's graced the stages, and she's just pretty much amazing in general. So please give it up for Davine Kerr. What's up, Davine? How you doing?
Hey, Glenn. How are you?
I'm doing great. Did you like my my up front there? Did you?
That was I never seen you that serious. That was amazing. It looks good on you.
Really? It looks serious. Looks good on me.
Yeah, that was like super neat. And I want to buy ankle bracelet for dogs now. Like,
you know, like that's a thing. It's a thing, and I don't think a lot of people understand how important it is to make sure that your pet is laced up. And you don't want your pet out here looking scraggly. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, if you know a little bit about the Cambodian culture, that's the first gift you give to any baby that's born is ankle bracelets made out of gold to show status and respect for the family. So it's weird that white people dogs are treated the same way as Cambodian babies, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy. And you know what's dope is that we came up with that. You know what I mean? Like me and the sponsor, we came up with that. So yeah, look at that. We were showing respect. And I had no idea that was something major in Cambodian culture. Now I know.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
I mean? Every time I'd see a dog run around, I'd be like, oh, that could be a Cambodian baby like gift right there.
Let me specify bougie Cambodian baby.
Oh, okay. The bougie Cambodia. So what's going on? You're obviously Cambodian. We didn't.
I just had to plug that then before there was any confusion, like
unless there was confusion. But you're one of my favorite people to hang out with in the DC comedy scene. It's like one of those things we don't always get to see each other, but whenever we do see each other, it's amazing love. As a matter of fact, you were also, people might not notice, people might be upset about it, you were one of the first people to ever see my son when he was in this world. Like,
I feel so honored. Yeah. He's
I don't even think the grandparents saw him before you. You were there pretty like soon after. So you're like you're high up on our list of favorite people.
It's rare that I find a baby almost as cute as mine,
So the reason why you were there was you were doing the newborn photos, and that it's something that you don't really think about, but it's like you're never going to have those memories again. They're never going to be that small again. They're never going to be that young again. So it was like very awesome to have you come in and like document that. Like what got you into doing the newborn thing, like the newborn photography?
Well, older babies talk back. I mean, newborns are great. They're just sleeping, and I didn't get to play with Play-Doh when I was a kid. I didn't have toys. We were Cambodian refugees, but a human baby, just tuck it in, and then
you could like mold them like Play-Doh. You could put them. Yeah.
So I like that, and plus parents that just push the baby out, they're vulnerable. So I like to see them in that very, very traumatic time when I can be that savior. Like, I don't know, I have a lot of ego complex. That's why I do that job.
You do it for you as opposed to
totally.
But it helps out the parents because we go back sometimes and like look at those photos and it's like, man, we captured him when he's all like small and snuggled up, and it's one of those things. If you don't think about these things like before you have the baby, it's like an overwhelming kind of like moment in your life once you have like the child, and then they're there, and all of a sudden you're a parent, especially first-time parents, and all of a sudden you're there, and then you almost forget to like, oh, I should have got the little pictures. Maybe as a dude I forget, but maybe the moms don't forget, but as a dad I feel like I always forget things like that.
But you guys were already situated at home, like, because I'm a neonatal photographer, so I'm actually in the first 24 hours of the baby's life at the hospital. So I document like the circumcision and the whole thing, like I'm at the bottom of the mama's bed, smelling everything in that room and capturing the first 24 hours before they leave the hospital.
Why do you have to bring up smells? Like, what's this?
Do you know how disgusting? And I'm not talking about the mom. I'm talking about the smelly dad that didn't shower, the family members that come and bring old Tupperware that sits in the hospital room for 2 days and there's no ventilation. And I have to like snap that for an hour and a half between colics, crying, diaper change, and all it. That's the only thing that makes me almost faint. But anyways, that's another topic.
Yeah. But you know what? Like, fortunately for us, we didn't have to do all that waiting because everything was like super quick in terms of how long it took for us to, pop the kid out. I always say us, but I did not do any of the work. You know what I mean? Like I was there for moral support. As a matter of fact, I tried to take a picture during it and then I got yelled at. I was like, oh, let me snap this beautiful moment of a mom give her birth. And she was like, if you don't put that damn camera away.
Can I cuss or is it? Oh, it's live. Never mind.
You know what? It is not live. It is like we're recording or whatever.
Okay.
And we used to do it live, but it presented a lot of problems because most of my friends are comedians and they are notoriously not on time.
Oh, yeah.
So they're always late. So I just started actually recording it and then putting it out and then broadcasting it or whatever, but it used to be, you know what? I think I'm going to bring it back once it's, we get rolling a little bit and then people can, call in and type in and have comments while we're talking.
What? We would get heckled by people. No, thanks. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but we could just ignore them. It's totally different than being on stage where you get heckled and you have to acknowledge
But knock on wood, at least we don't get water bottles thrown at us, like singers.
Has that happened recently?
Yeah, there's like a whole montage on TikTok of like bitches singing and getting water bottles on the head.
No, I meant like thrown at you. Has anybody thrown?
Oh no, not
cool. You're always like very cool though. You don't really like say anything that like I feel like people want to throw something at you for.
But you don't. Anyways, that's another topic too. But everyone's unhinged. You don't even have to say anything offensive for people to just randomly throw because they want to be viral on TikTok. I'm talking about the audience member. This is
becoming a thing. It's like
yeah. It's like I have nothing interesting to say. I'll just be violent.
But here's the thing. This is an unfiltered conversation, so there's some ways that it's going to go, but there's no it doesn't have to. We don't have to talk about neonatal things. Although I do find it very, very interesting, like going in there and seeing someone at a very vulnerable time. Also seeing the baby when it's like super young. Have you gotten some ugly babies in there? Have you taken those pictures before?
I mean, most of them are all ugly.
Okay.
In the first 24 hours, I mean, they're all shrink. They didn't plump yet. They just came out all like pruned, like our fingers in a spa. Like it's. I mean, they're cute. I think they're cute, but objectively, anybody else that look at them would think they look like little Sharpie dog. Like it's a.
It's like, be real. Your baby kind of looks like a gargoyle when it first comes out.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's like, I know to you it's lovely, but it does look a little scary. Like I would have no problem believing that this was a villain in a horror movie. Most babies when they come out. Although my baby was cute. My baby was cute coming out.
Oh no, your baby is gorgeous. But seeing the fathers to looking at the baby, they want to make sure it's theirs. Like that's the first reflex. Like every dad I see them are all like checking, like
Wait, have you ever been in the hospital and and been like witness to like a switcheroo or prevented a switcheroo? Because how sometimes they say like people get switched at birth at hospitals, which happens way more.
Security is so high. The security is really
okay.
It's pretty.
So you haven't ever seen that before, or
I hope not. No.
Have you ever thought about it? Ooh, that baby does not look like that. Looks like that baby should be in 17th C and not B.
Not that there wasn't so much the baby, but more like suspicious two dads visiting.
What?
Yeah. The photo shoot sometime I have, especially for triplets, then it takes longer because you have to get all three babies like in sync, and then the dad will leave, and then later another dad shows up. So, and I can't say anything, but yeah, it's a lot of.
So you just keep snapping the pictures, just like, oh, okay.
I know speak English when that happened.
What's the most interesting neonatal photo shoot that you've taken?
Well, just because of Pinterest, there's a lot of moms who want like the butterfly wings and all those accessories, but that's they want the baby to dress as something, but it's 24 days old and hasn't showered yet. It still has mom's placenta and pussy juice all over it, and I'm just documenting that. Keep the cute Pinterest photo shoot for 3 months later when you're at home. You put them in a basket and all, but that's not my job. My job is to just snap the first wrinkles, the first 24 hours. Like I said, like the baby bracelet, the hospital tub, and also so when they bring all the accessories, like I want to put that outfit, and then the baby's too small.
Right.
And they're all shocked, like, but the sign says newborn. How come my baby is doesn't fit in there, and they act like a guy who tries a Magnum condom for the first time, like, why is it too big? So anyways, yeah.
But then they still try to go through with it.
Yeah, I have to sit down and talk to them and say, bitch, don't waste my time. No, I'm kidding. I don't talk to them, but
man, I don't know. It was pretty cool seeing him for the first time and be curled up in the way that you staged him. And there's one photo that I have where I'm just holding him kind of in my hands, and I think you suggested that. You're like, oh, you got to do this one, and then it's I'm on the kneeling with holding him, and I'm like, that's the bee's knees. That's the thing right there. You know what I mean?
I like to capture the endearment of the father and the relief to thank God it's mine.
We didn't have any of those problems because it was the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
So I know. So I didn't really let Stephanie out of the house, as much.
Goodness,
I didn't allow her out. I kept her locked in the apartment, just barefoot in the kitchen, popping out baby. And so I was pretty sure it was mine. And then also, I was talking before about the switched at birth thing, since we were at home, there's no I'm the first hands that touched it.
I forgot you had a home birth. Right?
Yeah,
that's amazing. She's such a champ. Wow.
Yeah, but it's like the pandemic. Why would you want to go? Why would you want to go into somewhere where people are actively getting sick and this whole thing? It just seemed weird to do it. And then learning more about it, I'm like, oh, this is definitely the way to go. You know what I mean? Because you can kind of make your own choices as a parent, which I think is necessary. I feel like we got to bring that back. But But yeah, so I was the first hands to actually touch little my little dude, my little homie. I'm calling him Little M, or Little Glenn. I was the
He
first
is
hands
so
to touch
cute.
him, and there's something really special about that. Just knowing like the first hands that were on him were like
Right.
mine.
I pulled my second one out too.
By yourself?
Well, I had a midwife at the hospital, you know.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even. I didn't put in a birth request or anything like that. But she knows I'm kind of a crunchy, hippie, weird mom, you know. So when she saw the head, and she was like, "Davine, he's ready, you know, and you can actually grab him from under his armpits and pull him out yourself." And I'm like, "What? My arms can reach that low, you know, because I can't even trim my own bush." Anyways, so I'm like grabbing the baby out and like, and it was amazing. I felt like an Amazonian warrior. Like,
oh man, that's pretty solid. Like you could pull him out.
I pulled him out. Like I felt the, you know, like it was.
That's got to be wild.
It was insane. It was crazy.
That like I can't even imagine the feeling of. I know the feeling of relief when I poop. You know what I mean? But I've never like actually like pulled the poop out. Like, you know.
Yeah, and plus that one's. I mean, both my kids are special, but the second pregnancy, my second one was. I had a cancer scare during. I was 34 weeks pregnant, and then they told me I had inflammatory breast cancer.
Oh no!
So I went through biopsy and everything, and the baby went through so much like So it was. That's why my midwife, I think, when she saw that, it's literally a gift she gave me, because normally she doesn't do that. She was like, she really felt like this is, you know, after all the shit I went through, and finally it turns out it was like a weird disease that was treated with steroid, but they were like talking about removing my boobs. Like, could you imagine? Anyways, I had to have a second opinion and all. But so when my midwife saw the opportunity, she was like, just pull him out yourself. And that was like one of the nicest thing anyone. It's a weird thing to say, you know, like, but it was one of the nicest thing anyone offered me, you know, that it's a once in a lifetime chance to just pull your own baby out, like in a bush, you know, like I imagine all the animals. I was like Snow White. And
wait, did you say through the bush?
It just felt like it was squatting in the bush, pulling it out. But I mean, it wasn't a bed, but it felt like it, you know, like.
I thought you said through the bush, like.
No.
The imagery. But so we have something in common then. So like with that, since you were like also the first hands that were on your second, are you a little bit closer to the second than the first?
They even out because my first one, I breastfed him for so long. So it was all mommy only. Daddy couldn't help. It was like, and you know, not only it was between feed, but he also used me like a pacifier. So I couldn't go anywhere. Yeah. Like an hour away. It was like mom all the time. And then my second one, because of the cancer scare, I couldn't breastfeed.
Oh no!
So he was a bottle baby, so the dad could get involved. So I guess, you know, they both have more bonding. It evened out. Yeah, that's
really cool. That is cool. That it's fortunately for him, the whole cancer scare or whatever. Because then you know, he would always have like one up on the brother. It's just like, yeah, mommy really like, you know. But that's something you and Stephanie actually have much in common, you know what I mean? Like breastfeeding for a long time. And I'm noticing like like dad is like chopped liver. Like he does not care about dad. Like he gets excited when I get home, but sometimes he's excited, sometimes he just goes back to doing whatever he was doing before. But mommy, when mommy walks through the door, it's like all bets are off. Smush dad's face out of the way and run straight. And I think it's because of the boobs. I think it's
even without the boob. I mean, but I have to say my second one is very, very close to his dad. Like they have a strong bond more than.
You think it's the feeding? You think it's the
I think it's the ranking. Like if you have a second kid, I think typically the second one, the baby feels that dad knows what he's doing.
Right.
You're like, it's not your first rodeo, so the kid trusts you more. But the first one's like, hell no, I'm gonna stick to mom, you know. That's why it's called mother intuition and not
fatherly intuition. You know, it's funny that you say that, because like when he was younger, I was, you know, I was sleeping with him or whatever, and we were on the couch. So it was a very short distance, but he rolled over onto the like floor, and then I feel like from that moment he looked up at me like, I can't trust you. I can't.
Oh yeah. One mistake from dad and that's it, you know.
So he's like, nah, I can't do this anymore. We're not. I gotta be on my P's and Q's. But it's funny because like he fell, and I feel like he got a little bit smarter. Like after that, he's like, all right, I can't be a baby. I gotta be like on top of my A game.
Learns fast. I saw him. I see how he was thinking. And at Joey's house when we were at that barbecue, I saw him play with stuff, but like he won't make. I love babies with survival instinct, because most kids that rage me is when they get hurt and they just go right back to the same, like not yours. Yeah. Yours is like, nah, like I'm not gonna do that. Nah, I was impressed.
Yeah, he's a little impressive dude. He's like learning ultra fast. He picks up things really, really quick. He's repeating everything now. I think he knows. I feel like he knows the entire alphabet in like small chunks, like if you point out a letter, he can point out what that letter is, like A through Z, but he can't go from A to Z like reciting or anything, but he can point to it and be like, oh, that's a, whatever. And like his numbers, he knows too. So I'm very excited about his learning prospects. And I feel like we've done a good job putting like good things in front of him.
Did he learn all his trucks? I don't know why in America boys have to learn what everything move, like backhoe, lifter, like I learned all the trucks. I never care about
it's like they're preparing them for construction. It's like,
and
here's a shovel, here's a pick.
And I don't know why they have to know the animal noises, like who cares what a camel say, like my kids are like 14 now, and it's like, what does the camel say?
You know what I've always wondered too? Why do we always learn about like the dinosaurs? Like what? We gotta know about dinosaurs. Like that's the animal. Like they don't teach us about like the different fishes in the sea or anything. But it's like you gotta know a stegosaurus. You gotta know a.
That's true.
It's like what? Where did that come from?
But that's parents quizzing other parents because we're douches like that. We have no more self-worth, so you have to like. But I forgot all my dinosaurs. But you know what I realized though? That turkeys don't say gobble gobble.
What do they say?
Because I went to a farm yesterday. They say like it's a spaceship. It's like the intro Futurama. You watch Futurama?
Yeah.
That's what the turkeys say. I mean, a Stitch is coming soon on TikTok. You'll see.
That's hilarious. I've never given it thought, except for the fact, when that song came out, what does the fox say? It did make me think like, oh wait, what do certain animals that you never hear?
Catchy, man.
It's like because you don't ever hear a fox. It's a very common animal, or in most places, but there's no noise associated to it. But if you hear it, it sounds like a young child getting assaulted.
Wow,
that's what a fox actually sounds like. It's like ah.
All the ones I've seen were quiet because they were like dead in the road.
Yeah. So you said you talked a little bit about self-worth. I know one of the things that gives you a lot of self-worth is cooking. And I gotta say, I 100% thought we were going to get a Davine dish way sooner than now.
I still haven't. Oh, you're still waiting? I don't want to impose myself,
No, it's fine. I think you did. You did bring. No, you know what? You brought the food to Joey's party.
Yes,
and that's what we ate. But every time you cook something delicious, I'm like, that looks amazing. So you know what? We do have to schedule a dinner date.
If we schedule something, because I was raised like with Kramers coming to my house anytime. My door was never locked.
Yeah,
but I don't feel like I can do this like in Virginia. Everyone's so like.
Yeah, right. Well,
otherwise I would just show up. I'm like, here's my Cambodian dish.
It is a Second Amendment state where people are very much up on their guns. So
you
walk up in there with a dish, you might be leaving with some holes.
But I'll feed you. I mean, I also been scarred. I tried to feed one of my friend's baby, and the dad was like, no, you're not going to feed ethnic food to my white baby because I don't want him to have an Asian fetish when he grows up. Like, it's a real thing that happened to me.
No way.
Yes, because they said, because it's like, we don't eat that kind of food. Like I don't want him to get used to spicy food. And I'm like, I didn't even put any spice, but they just thought it was really weird. Yeah, they live in.
They said spicy food, and you're like, I just put pepper on it. Like.
It was Thai basil. It was an herb. Like
listen, whatever it was, bring it over here. My son definitely loves spicy food. He'll eat it. Like we don't give a lot to him, but it's funny because sometimes he'll like taste it like like he'll just like kind of perk up like, oh, spicy.
Yeah. But I mean, he's still in diapers, so I'll spare you guys from my.
Yeah, we
And
don't.
I assume that is he potty. I don't even remember how old he is. 2?
He's 2, so we're in the potty training stage. I don't know. Do you have tips for potty training? Because for us, I feel like maybe we're just a little bit too worried about having the accidents. Because apparently, you got to let them have them to get them to actually be trained, and maybe we're just not willing, or we just haven't been able to do that. But what are your tips for like potty training? Have you done that? I mean, obviously you've done it. I mean, your kids are old. Are they potty trained?
I am some secrets I will never share. No, but that was, if one thing I could outsource was potty training and dealing with puke. That's the thing that they don't tell you before you become a parent, right? That's like, I can handle everything else. I won't say I love disciplining, but I know my grounds. I know how I want to raise my kids and all, but when it's puke management and the potty training. So again, Virginia, I don't know, the moms here are crazy. All right. They have money. So every time the baby pees in the potty or poop, they buy them a little micro machine car, and I'm like, dude, like, I don't believe in the whole reward system where you have to buy a toy every time they take a shit. Like, I mean, the poop in there should be alone, or the reward, it's like, look, you left something out of your butthole, like, yay. So
the release is the reward.
Yeah. But I feel like the parents are on steroid here, and stickers maybe, but even that I'm thinking it's nuts. But some are buying like little cars, like the Disney cars. Like,
yeah, does that work? Does it work?
Oh, come on, you're not considering this.
No, here's the reason why is because I don't think he has any concept. I think he just thinks things exist. He doesn't have a concept of, hey, we got you a gift. It's just like things exist.
There's that too.
Yeah.
And it's the parent that teaches them to be. I don't know, but one of my best parenting moment though, related to potty training, was we were at a public restaurant, and my oldest just learned to like, how to go to let me know how to go, and he would do like these hand gestures. We did sign language before they even knew words to like more and plain and thank you. Anyways, so when he needed to potty, he would do this. And then I would know, okay, let's go to potty. But when he came back, I just came back to the table and I told my husband, like, hey, Liam went in the potty. And all the tables around were parents too. And they all got up and gave him a standing ovation. And that's how you knew it takes a village to raise a kid. Like, they all went through potty training. So they all cheered on him because they all went through that shit process.
Wow.
I just thought it was such a beautiful moment. I was like moved, because all the parents were like, yeah, good job, bro. And it was so cute. I felt like a sports person in the
So do you have to like get other people involved to get them like excited? Because I feel like we tell him yay, and he's just like, oh, I always get like, I feel like he walks around like a little emperor, like, oh, I always get the food that I want, or it claps, or what I mean. He's like a little Julius Caesar.
If you poop in the potty, it's an open mic, but like if everybody's cheer, that's a theater poop,
Yeah.
You gotta give him an audience, like.
It's like, yay, you did it.
Oh, yeah. You make a huge song of that. So we make a huge deal every time he got it. So
I wish we got that whenever we poop. Just people would be like, yay, they did.
No, people would never leave my house. Like,
yeah, right. It's like, because there are some epic ones that I got in there. I know your kids play video games. Do you play anything with them?
Yes. I've been playing that thing called, oh shit, I forgot the name. Anyway, it's similar to like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighters, and I'm kicking their ass out. I love it.
Is it the new Street Fighter?
No, it's called something Central Pass, or it's a weird name. I'll have to look it up. Anyways,
Interesting.
It's like it's like a fighting. It's pretty fancy. It's just that some characters like shoot. They're like witches, so they shoot from far away, and some other are close contact. So my son cheats because like I'm trying to punch, and he's just staying in the back with his big boobs. I mean, he picks girl characters, and then throwing me like big fireballs, like Shinko Hadouken, and it just. So I told him, like, if you want to fight, we'll have to make it fair,
You gotta fight fair.
Yeah. But it's a fun game.
We're at the stage now where if I play video games, he just looks, and I don't think he registers that I'm using the controller to control what's happening on screen.
Nice.
He just is like, oh, it's like cool thing on screen. Because I feel like the moment he realizes he can play too is like the moment when like all the, like the, not necessarily joy, but things change. Because then it's like, ooh, I want to play that game. Like if he's already like, he likes watching Blippi. I don't know if you've seen this Blippi character, but he loves watching that. And I can't imagine the next step where it's like I can interact with things on screen.
Oh yeah, it's interesting. It's addictive. Like I'm a gamer, but I hate anything that involves quest and exploring. Like if I have to change my camera angle and get lost in a maze and talk to people and pick up clues, you lost me. I just like killing, smashing buttons and going to the right, like Mario, you know, like I just move to the right, then I'll play.
This is a trend that I hate in video games. They make you do like these quests, which are really like tasks. So it's someone will be like, I need 3 dozen loaves of bread, and you're just like, I did not play this game to get a grocery list.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. I don't have the patience. The story. I don't care about the story. Like
I don't need the story. So, anyways, going back to cooking, what did you cook for them when they were little? Because this is a thing that
everything
we're obviously dealing with, and I just like to hear how other parents feed their kids. I'm always very interested.
I feed them everything. I mean, they eat everything we eat. That's I started. I mean. But even the baby food I made from scratch back then. But I was home, so I could,
Yeah. But did you like feed them everything that you eat? Was there a moment where you were like feeding them different than what you ate, or you've always given them kind of whatever you are eating?
I don't know. Again, that's not. I don't want to like make it sound like there's ethnic people and white people and all, but I'm not into the. Like I grew up eating steak and my parents ate steak too, but then I went to my friend's house and the kids had the mac and cheese while the parents had like lamb chops. I always felt like my kids are part of my family. Like we all eat the same thing, like I don't believe in kids menu. Like to me, that's very weird.
Are you saying some parents treat their kids like paupers? It's like y'all get the secondary food or like the scraps while we're eating
what I'm
steak
saying
and lobster.
There's a lot of people complaining about picky eaters. But if you always treat your child like a second-class citizen and not eat with you, and then you never eat at the table together as a family tradition, everybody's scattered in a different room, then there's no sense of community and inclusiveness. Like I'm very anal about that.
That's the whole breaking bread or eating, you know what I mean, together. I feel like
that's the only time when the family comes together. And that's the only reason why you go back to your mom later when you're in college, because mom cooks good food. When you don't, there's no reason to go back unless you miss that basement where you used to jerk off to. Like food brings the family back.
And you know what? That one of my favorite holidays is Thanksgiving, and for that reason, it's like bringing people back together, and then you have like a big meal. It's just, it's like a great time.
That it's enough to overlook the family drama as long as food is there,
Yeah, right. I don't know. Have you all had like some family drama how do your kids deal with the family dynamic? Do you ever wonder, do you ever wonder like what side, because there's sometimes long standing like disagreements or arguments or whatever in families and whatnot, and then your kids are coming up and you're like, whose side are you gonna be on? Like, are you gonna be a traitor, or are you gonna be on mommy's side still?
See, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in sides. I think they are their own person. They're not my property. And
but if you raise them right, they'll know. If you let them be their own person, then they get to choose who, like, you know what I mean? Like if they agree with your argument or don't disagree.
But it's fair, but they already learned better that when they don't choose me, their life sucks, So
that's true.
But it's funny that you mentioned that, because it's the first year that my kids are more aware of the subtext. Like before that, they just come and they eat and they get spoiled by their parents, and there's an uncle that tap on their heads like, here's $10 for candies. Like they don't care about anything else, right?
Right.
But now they're older and they pick up on stuff. So even though I don't say anything, they'll be like, what happened? And why is grandpa like this? And why is so? That's what I'm navigating. This is my new parenting stage of me dealing with, like, I can deal with my own family trauma, but when I feel like it affects my kid, I'm more protective.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the reason why it's the first year. I mean, TMI, this is very personal, but it's the first year I'm not going to Montreal for that exact reason.
Oh, wow. Because it's like, you know what? It is like interesting. And we basically try to keep our family like very
Yeah.
not close to the vest, but we're very protective of like our energy or whatever. And
Right.
now we don't really have any issues or whatever. But at the first sign of like issue, we're not entering, like there's not going to be some feud. We're just going to not see those people. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're just not going to deal with it, because I don't think he has to deal with it. Should have to deal with it. And you think about a lot of people who have just like, you kind of like carry your kid into like the continuation of like the different traumas of different like like beefs or whatever, and then you see those kids grow up and then they think like, oh, this is how we handle life. This is one thing that we're trying to figure out, is like conflict resolution, because when he's young, he does certain things, and you got to correct those early on because they like carry on. I don't know if that's your experience.
Well, and what's hard also is, for example, something that is, I think, a more modern problem is when you deal with severe food allergies.
Yeah.
I had a fallout. I mean, I didn't fight with my family and all, but there's people who become vegetarian. That's a choice. But when you have a severe food allergy, that's medical. But what they don't understand, that I didn't choose that. I won't tell you which kid of mine has very severe allergies, and in Cambodian food, there's a lot of peanuts. And
oh, for sure.
So when you ask them, and I don't mean to be rude, I just want to know like what's inside of whatever. And just that alone creates friction. Right. And so like, it's just crazy how you can have family drama based on the smallest thing nowadays, like
as small as a peanut, literally.
Yeah. But I mean, allergy is not small, but I mean other things too. Like
no, it is kind of crazy though, seeing like the uptick in like these allergies, and then people get, because it is, I feel like selfishly, it's annoying when someone has like a food restriction.
Yeah, but when you're living with
about like their life, and it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks for me too, because everything has peanuts in it, or everything has milk or dairy, and like it really impacts my life, and it's just interesting. So especially for someone who is like in your family, to be upset about them having a like basically like a disease, like an ailment where something can like harm them,
Yeah, and your parents, imagine if it's, and there's a lot of comedians, even I hear them, they'll make Darwinism jokes, like, well, if they're that easy to kill, maybe they shouldn't be around. And I'm like, if it was your own kid, I don't think you would make that kind of joke,
Yeah, I know. Have you been more sensitive to certain type of jokes since you became a parent?
No, just that one. I just meant like because whether it's about autism or anything, any ableism, to me, it's just like nobody chose that. Okay, so I mean, I'm sure it's funny. I mean, I still respect joke structure and everything and all, but don't invite me on your podcast to talk about how we should kill children who are allergic to peanuts. Then I won't sign it. This is why I draw the line, But
yeah. No, for sure. I don't know, because every joke has like a target, and this is like one of those things where like I have certain things that like you said, like it's not that I'm like, oh, don't do it, or where it's just like I personally think that it's like poor taste, and I don't necessarily agree or like it. And the allergy thing, I don't know, it's like it's very sad to see so many kids be allergic to
what's crazy is the grandparents. It's not from their generation. You want to hear a story? There's a kid who was severely allergic to eggs, and the mom said to the grandparents, they said, okay, you're gonna babysit my kid, make sure you don't give them eggs. And the grandparents were like, millennials, they're so sensitive. So the minute the parents left, the grandparents were like, what would happen? They gave the baby that egg and he's dead.
Wow.
And that's why I never trusted, I'm exhausted because I never trusted anybody to watch any of my kids.
I know.
There's a reason why I don't fly a lot either, because when you do a road trip, if something happened, you can stop the car, but in an airtight airplane, somebody eats peanuts next to your child.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
No.
I had no idea of that. And so every time you go out, you're kind of like taking a risk, almost like that there's going to be like peanuts or something in there.
Yes.
That's a huge thing.
Yes. It's a pain in the ass. That was like one of my biggest issues I ever had to deal with, like.
Yeah. I feel so fortunate that, my son does not have those ailments. You know what I mean? He doesn't have like, any allergies or whatnot. And I don't know. I've heard a lot of like rationale of like why these allergies, there's an uptick in these allergies and whatnot.
Well,
because like you said, back in like our parents' days or whatever, it wasn't as heard of. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these things weren't as heard of. Like maybe our parents heard it a little bit, but definitely our grandparents did not have it as much,
But
you know?
you know what's insane is my mom. So I had a fallout with her for 2 years because of that. Okay. Because she thought I was being difficult and challenging and rude because I asked for the content of food and stuff like that. And you just can't explain. So I just, I just step away. And what happened is what's insane about allergies, not to jinx anybody else, but it can happen later in life too. Like I have a friend who like turned 45 and all of a sudden was allergic to crab. It's not just babies. It can just happen like me. All of a sudden now I'm allergic to like jackfruit. It's really random. And horses. I've never been around a horse, but it's not the same level as peanut. I'll just sneeze and stuff. But my point is, my mom never had any allergies. She didn't understand my allergies. And then she was gardening and a bee stung her and she was rushed to the ER. And that's when she said, oh shit. And then I got my mom back and we got to talk to each other. And I'm like, this is why I'm being a pain in everyone's butt when I ask you what's in there.
Yeah, because it's like super, and people don't understand until it happens to them. Yeah,
but I'm not like expecting everybody to change their diet for me. Like because I cook, I always make everything from scratch. Every time we went to a birthday, my kid has his own cupcake.
Right.
So I didn't affect nobody's life. I was never entitled or expected anybody to change their lives for us. Like I always packed everything for him to make sure he was covered.
You know what's so cool? Like we've known each other for a good amount of time, and that's something that I did not know. Like this is how good you are at, like, you know what I mean, taking care of it, because it's something that I did not know.
Well, also you want the world to know, but you also don't want nobody to know, because it just takes a malicious person and it can just kill your kid right there. That's why I don't even talk about it on stage. This is my first time actually talk about it publicly.
But I think it's I appreciate you like talking about it, because it is something to bring awareness. Like it's like, because I think there is like a stigma of like, oh, look at that person being difficult.
Because I think it's
like allergies and stuff, and it's just like, oh, you mean like keeping my kid alive? Like it's just like you wouldn't take your kid and put them in front of the targets at a gun range and be like, all right, son, you gotta dodge them, that seems very dangerous. Like you probably want to keep and they always say like keep your kids safe and all this other stuff, and then when you try to like do it, then people are like annoyed with it. But I feel like there's a lot of selfishness. Like people are just like there's a lot, like you were saying, there's a lot of like it doesn't happen to me, so I don't necessarily care about your
we saw that a lot with mask wearing, with until it affects you personally. Most people, not you, but I mean people personally, nobody cares about nothing. I mean, so now I'm okay. It took a long time to like grieve and process, but now I realize that everybody just cover their own ass, and that's fine. Once you accept that, it's okay,
But I feel like the way that you're doing it as a parent is making sure, like, okay, like I don't expect the world to bend to me and to make all these accommodations, but I'm gonna keep it safe, because at the end of the day,
right?
I feel like your kid sees that, and he kind of starts to understand my health is like my responsibility to make sure that I am okay, to make sure that I, did the checks, to make sure that we have figured out what is safe for me. And it gives them a little bit of responsibility. If they always see, oh, mommy's arguing with this person because they didn't do it the way that they should have did it, or they kind of get that like entitlement feeling of like, you need to accommodate me.
That's my biggest pet peeve. I cannot. And we even had a little network of allergy moms, I call them, because then let's say my son went to a birthday and the other mom was there, and I'm like, oh, she's like, oh, I'll make cupcakes for both kids, so I got it covered. Davine, I'll just pick him up. And so we helped each other out like that. And that was.
Wow. Has it gotten better, or is it like something that was like really bad when he was young and got better, or is it just consistently been the same in terms of severity?
So when he was a baby, he was allergic to eggs, dairy, and peanuts, right? And so when he was 3, he outgrew the eggs and the dairy, so that was fine. But the peanuts, it got worse. Like now he can't even
be around it.
No. Well, it's not airborne. Actually, if there's a bowl next to him, as long as, but one time a grandma ate peanuts and was talking and she spat on his face, and then he had a reaction because it touched him, like.
Yeah.
Like, and they say that the most dangerous time for allergy kids is not even it's when they go to college.
Right.
Because the parents do such a good job watching and making sure, they bring your EpiPen and stuff like that. But when you go to college, you get cocky and then they get drunk. They don't bring their EpiPen. They kiss a girl that just had peanuts at a bar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
These are things I've never even thought about.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, yeah, or even lotion. They have like my son's only peanuts, and that's fine, but tree nuts is even worse because that covers like walnuts, cashews, pecans, coconut. So
Even coconuts.
Yeah, and a lot of people have coconut cream, and that can kill a dude in college who like forgot.
Dude, I put coconut oil in my hair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then people don't know. It's just, but then what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stop using it? No, I'm just saying. But you have to be vigilant. Like when you're the one dealing with the problem, you really have to be. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to be aware next time not to hug you as tight because like I have the coconut oil in my hair.
It's okay because I always brush my teeth and wash my shower before I touch my kid. Did you know that?
Not kiss to me.
I didn't say kiss. I'm talking in general. Like I'm. I even have a system with my husband. If I go out and I want to eat a dessert, I'll make sure he doesn't too, so that if in case we have to give mouth to mouth to our son that night.
Wow.
We always have to have one parent that is clear at least.
Wow. That's a lot.
I know. People don't know what we live with. Like, I don't talk about it, but this is like a real.
Dude, I don't know. I feel like that's something that there should be. Now I feel like
That's a parenting episode about allergy parents. I mean,
like allergy awareness is. I feel like is a huge issue, and it's a huge blind spot, especially when you have kids that don't. Like Morgan goes around and he could kind of eat everything, and we were very like careful about like introducing new foods because you don't know what they're going to immediately like have a reaction to. And it could be like very serious. So we were like we were very aware of that. But now he doesn't have those allergies. And it's almost as if as a parent, you kind of forget to, watch out for other kids. But whenever someone says something, it's, it's like, oh, okay, you'll be mindful of it. But I feel like there are those parents who are just like, whatever, I'm going to feed them whatever.
Well, there's different levels too.
Where do you get the resources to figure out what to do? And because everything's like fried with like peanut oil or something. Like if you go to Five Guys, you can't have the fries.
Well, peanut oil actually, weirdly enough, doesn't affect most kids.
Oh, okay.
The oil is fine. It's it's weird, and so you have to go to there's allergy specialists, and then they do a test every year. You go through a panel, they prick them your back, and it's just
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Well, I'll keep that in mind when we have our dinner party. We'll keep it in mind.
Stop bringing my kids, anyways. Don't you worry. I mean, even I'm tired.
But your kids are fun. They're funny.
They're fun.
They're super enjoyable. So usually when we have, or not usually, all the time when we have somebody on, we always ask the blerding question, what do you like to nerd out about? So what does Davine Kerr like to nerd out about? Like what's something that you're like really into?
Everything though. I'm a huge nerd about like everything, like music, like etymology. Like I love word structure, like the roots of every word. I love language. Like anybody I meet in any culture, I will learn at least the basic greetings. So I know like greetings in about like 18
I love language. That. Yeah, I love that. Because you're trilingual. What languages do you speak?
So I speak fluently Cambodian, French, and English. And then I know how to speak Polish to a Polish dog. Like all the dog command, like sit, shadai, dai wape, give me your paw. Tutaj jest piłka, the ball is there. Oh, what is that?
That means I love you. That's
it's yache koam.
Okay, well, I think koam is the love part of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I learned that piękna. Do you know piękna? Is also
what's piękna?
It's beautiful. These are all things I learned because I was married before. These are all
to a Polish person.
Yeah, way back when.
I didn't know that. Because I always know like dzień dobry, or I know how to count like raz, dwa, trzy, cztery, pięć, sześć, siedem, osiem, dziewięć, dziesięć.
Oh wow! See, I didn't even get that far.
Yeah, and like dobranoc, good night, and babciu is grandma, tatush is father. Like yeah, ide to the damo. I'm going home. But
nice.
And I know some Russian, Hindi.
Can you do jokes in French, or can you do jokes in Cambodian?
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a whole set. I perform in Canada in French. I have a whole 10-minute French set that is different from my set here in the US.
That is beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's not.
I know, like not broken, but I was conversational in Spanish and Portuguese.
Nice.
But of course, I have not used it, so it's like, I feel like I lost it. But I was getting to a point there, like I had visited, I had I could talk to different people in it. I kind of want to get it back. It feels like a superpower being able to speak multiple languages.
Yeah, Portuguese. I thought it was hard. I can't retain it. Like they'll tell me stuff, and I just
it wasn't super hard because a lot of the what's it called, phonates, is that like the sounds of the language are very similar to like and how it's structured is very similar to Spanish and different words, so it's very close to Spanish, and it's not. I think the sentence structure might be a little confusing, and there's a sotaque, the accent is a little bit different, and there, like, you gotta depending on like how you're speaking it, like or where you're speaking. Like in Portugal, it's a little bit different than what you get in Brazilian. It's like that thing. I feel like the when you go across the ocean, it's like the fancy, like Spanish spoken in Spain is the fancy kind, or English in England is the fancy kind, and you come over here and it's kind of like a little bit more.
I hate that they call it fancier though. It's like French from France versus like Quebec, for example. Like there's a lot of snobism with the accent, right?
Oh, is there?
Even though in France though, they use more Anglicisms.
Yeah.
They'll say, je vais aller me faire le shopping. They're going to go shopping. And then in French, in Quebec, we say, je vais aller magasiner. So the accent is different, but it's an actual French word.
Nice.
We don't say shopping, like we use a real.
It is funny
shopping.
Like when you went like I could like Jamaican for instance, or whatever, because a lot of times what they're speaking, like it sounds like it's a totally different language, and it is almost, but to me I'm like, oh, it just sounds like they're like they're saying things, like I can understand what they're saying, you know what I mean, but it sounds like a broken down and like chopped and screwed version of English or something, you know what I mean?
Well, it's like a lot of food in Cambodia, like carrots are not something that would grow in Cambodia. So they'll say, korot,
Korot.
Korot. It's carrot, but, or money is loy because it's Louis in French. So they pronounce it loy, so there's a lot of words that come from France and from.
Nice. If you had to pick up another language, what would it be? What would your next language be?
I really want to learn Mandarin and Korean. I watch a lot of K-drama, and I want to.
Yeah.
I'm tired of subtitles.
Have you noticed how good the like Netflix section is in like sci-fi and different like movies that are coming from like Korea or
they had a huge budget for Korea, I think, because of a lot of strike and writing thing and all, and now like Korea just slid right in, like it was well lubed and they went in, they didn't hesitate. Like,
it just slid right in.
By the way, did you see Train to Busan? That's like one of my favorite horror movies.
I'm not a horror fan.
I am. I'm a nerd. So if you asked me what I was nerding about, I've been watching horror almost every night. It just helps me relax and sleep well, like
just seeing all those people mangle just puts you to rest.
Well, I like weird concept, not like the horror, the gore, the special effect, the blood. I like the one that is like, oh shit, I never thought about it. Like somebody on a house arrest and then the house is haunted. What do you do when you're stuck in the house? Or there was another one called Hush. The girl is deaf.
Right.
And she survived. I mean, she couldn't hear the intruder. Like, it was amazing. Like
that I love movie making, and I love it when they come up with the concept and execute it really well.
Yeah.
And like I like the horror movies that are suspenseful. You know what I mean? Like
if you want to make a movie, I'll pitch you something. I'm working on a script, by the way. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we'll have to talk about it. We'll have to discuss it.
No, seriously, it's an amazing concept.
I would love it. I have so many different ideas that I want to do, because like I do short film, right? I don't know if you ever.
That's why I'm saying this to you right now, and it's live so that you remember.
Yeah, look, it's going to be out there. So people are going to be like, "Hey, where's that? Yeah. When's that movie coming? When's that collaboration?"
Look, if Sharknado became a success,
don't tell me.
I won't say. I'm not telling you. I'm just saying it's so stupid that if Sharknado made it, my concept will too. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Your concept, I'm pretty sure if it comes from your mind, it's probably going to be amazing. You know
It's
what I
very
mean?
stupid but brilliant at the same time. That's all I can say. I'm like very proud of it.
I feel like we've had like really good times when we're on shows together because I like enjoy like your comedy to the utmost because I always find that it's very like irreverent or whatever, and you're like coming at things from angles that I just think are you know that are just hilarious. I remember the you had like the one thing about the dolphin or whatever.
Oh my god, that dolphin one! You know, I stopped doing it because my throat started hurting.
Did it really?
Yeah, and I was like,
it was the most hilarious thing to me. It was so funny.
But also, you know what? I did a lot of Zoom shows with people on the West Coast, and every single Asian comedian had a joke about their name being mispronounced. And then I'm like, oh shit, they all do that. You know, I thought the hack was like the strict mom and the model minorities, but like even the name, so that I removed it. I'm like, I don't want to be generic Asian. Like, so I stopped.
Well, that sucks. That sucks because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was. Well,
come
to find out, I'm a hack laugher.
I brought it back 2 months ago, one time, and that was so weird. But...
Yeah, so next time you go up to Montreal, I want to come with you. Can I come do some comedy up there with you?
Sure. There's there's a lot of mics too now, especially in English. You know, because they opened their. Sorry, when I say I'm nerd about everything, you just made a small comment and I'm there already on a tangent. But I'm just saying it's like here now because before you had to go to comedy school to do comedy in Montreal.
Right. Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, it was a different. You had to go to l'École de l'Humour, the School of Humor, and you basically had a bachelor degree of comedy.
Wait, could you not do comedy without a degree?
Back then, not until 2017.
Shut up.
That's what I'm saying. But now it opened up, so it is pertinent what I'm telling you. So if you did come up now, there will be a lot of mics.
I'm sorry. Pause. Yes. In Canada, you have to get a degree to do comedy.
Okay. I don't know about Canada and the English side. I'm talking about the Quebec side in Quebec. The comedians came from a school of comedy. Yeah. L'École de l'Humour. And the thing is, because they had the brand backing them up, then it created a lot of lazy writers. And that's why they opened up to copy the American format.
Where anybody can do it.
Yeah, at a bar and all. And that's why they tried to like recruit new blood. But up to 2017, they didn't have any bar shows that much. Like it was really l'École de l'Humour. Yeah.
Interesting. Look at that. You're a Renaissance woman. I remember we did a show together and you had like a camera crew out there. And I was just like, oh, Davine is on point. Look at her. She's like, oh, this is just my camera person. Don't worry about that.
No, but that was a girl who was doing a 48-hour film festival competition. And she decided to do a documentary about my genocide story. My family escaped from Cambodia.
Oh, wow.
So that's why she was following me around. But she's really sweet, and the film was great in the end. But because she's not a comedian, you know what she did that just drove me completely insane. Like, I'm not a diva or anything.
Yeah.
But when you edit anything comedy related, you cut after the laughs.
Yeah.
But she would cut after I set up, and then it looked like I never got laughs. And I'm like, you cannot do that. And if you put that out there in the world, you're dead meat. Okay.
Yeah. No, 100%. She like neutered you. She neutered the.
Yeah. She cut all my comedy balls. It was horrible.
Like people don't get it. Like
yeah. I was like, so I was not having it for that.
Because I've done like I've shot and edited like maybe 3 comedy specials.
Right. Cool. I need to watch them.
Yeah. So there's mine that I did for me. And then Jim Bryan, I did like actually I did 2 for him, but one of them unfortunately the other guy who was producing it or he like directed it, but I like was cinematographer on one of them. He passed away, so I think he had like the footage or whatever in from it, and so it's like kind of gone to the
that footage loss is a real thing, because I've taped 3 episodes of a talk show and the guys still have all my footage. And anyways, I'm learning contract I was new. I was young and stupid, but
I don't know. Did you ever watch my special? Have you ever seen it?
Not yet. I need to see it.
Well, it's been out for 2 years, Davine. So how dare you?
No,
you're the first to see my baby, and you have not watched my special. I am hurt.
Look, I don't even watch all the special on Netflix either,
But it's short and sweet. Also, it's nice to the credits because there's a special, like, since you're part of the family.
I will watch it, but I want to ask you something.
What? Go. I'm all ears.
When people drop a special.
Yeah.
Do you think it means it's the funeral of those jokes? Like, is it really true that once you do that whole hour, then you have to work on a complete new hour?
That's how I like.
That's how I see it too. But
yeah, that's how I like to view it. You know what I mean? But I feel like it makes me work more. You know what I mean? If I'm like working towards that, because like right now, as a matter of fact, in my notes, I was just writing down some notes for it, and I'm trying to figure out like what. So I had an idea. Like I did the special in the pandemic, and it was because I wanted to have something out there, but I was like, this isn't going to be as good as if I am able to put it out when I've been performing more, because I hadn't performed in like 6 months or whatever, but I still wanted to do something. So I didn't put out all the like 10-minute sets and stuff on there. I did like some other ones that I had written specifically for this, which was fine. So when you see it, I feel like it's, I always feel like I have to caveat it, like, oh, it could have been better. But anyways, I put it out there, but I had jokes that I wanted to do for the new one. And I was thinking about how to structure the new, basically special that I wanted to do. But in answer to your question, the way that I like to do it is just like, you have, like I go out and I have like, why is my hand so white? Why am I putting up here? It looks so weird. But I have like jokes that I'll write out, and I try to like work on those, at the mic, and then get them to a point where I could put them on the thing, and then I like to shove them anyway. So it's like, I feel like once I've gotten to a point where something's getting a lot of laughs, I tend to put it away, because I'm like, oh, that's cheating. Like, I don't know why. It's like when I go to like the thing, I'm like, I can't do this joke because it works. Like, and I'm like, I want to like do a joke that I don't know is going to work and get it to work. I feel it, you know what I mean? It like, I don't know. It just feels weird, especially like this is when I go to mics. If I go to like a showcase or something, then I'm going to do the jokes that work. But when I go to mics, I feel like it's cheating to do jokes that are going to work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so.
But yeah, to like, once you put it on there, I feel like I'll throw those jokes out depending on what like a bigger venue, because I think of it like songs, you know what I mean? Like if someone,
but I mean, in a real show, you have to deliver the real. They don't pay you to do open mic and riffing. I mean,
but like if you think about it like a musician, right? Like people want to hear a song over and over again.
And
they'll be upset if you don't play that one song that they like. And sometimes I feel like jokes are like that, because they'll bring their friends like, oh, you got to see this guy, he's really funny. It's like, oh, you got to do the one you did for me. You know what I mean? And in our minds, we're like, oh, I don't want to tell that joke again to somebody else. They already know it. But then they are, bringing like a friend, or they have somebody else, and they're like, no, I want to do that thing you did again. Like, I want to hear that one again. That was great. And, I don't know. Do you ever get that where you listen to a comedian, you're like, I really want to hear him tell this thing again?
Well, I mean, they have to be really that good. Like, like all my Mitch Hedberg, I can re-listen to them on repeat, but there's a lot of other jokes that once you hear it, the suspense, it's like watching 7 Pound with Will Smith. Once you know how the movie goes, or Sixth Sense, you already know.
Yeah,
the spoilers.
Like, you can never have that. Like, that again. No, it depends. Have you done one? Have you recorded something yet? Because I haven't.
I don't want to for that exact reason. Is I'm so in love with my headlining set right now that I just want to headline everywhere I can.
Yeah.
Because I know that once I put it in a recording, I have to retire it.
You don't have to. I don't think you have to retire.
I know, but per my standards, I want. That's how I want it to be.
Yeah, but don't you want to retire? Like, I feel like I want to retire jokes sometimes. Like, I'm like, I'm tired of doing this. I want to retire it.
No, because we all have different whys. Yeah. But my hour that I've been working on and polishing is too important. It's a whole reason why I'm doing it. So it's part of whole identity and awareness and where my family came from and where they came through. It's if I retire it, it's just going to be for the purpose of comedy. It's going to have to be like a different concept or something cool. But that first hour is like my baby. This is exactly what I've been working for like 9 years. Like, it's like,
Yeah. But you know what? If it like your baby, think about it like this. If you show a picture of your baby, right?
Yeah.
You don't just throw that picture away after someone has seen it. You're not, no. You got to see this baby again. This baby was really cute. Like,
look, Mike Birbiglia had 2 special, and some of his joke overlap from the first to the second, and it annoyed everybody.
Really?
I don't want to be Mike Birbiglia in that sense, even though he's great and he was in my husband's dorm in Georgetown. Anyway, that's a different place.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I blew Mike Birbiglia a kiss on accident?
Wow.
Like
Did
he was
he
doing
like
his
it?
show at the Warner Theater, and it was a weird scene. Here's what happened. There was like a big line, to meet him and get like the poster signed and all this type of stuff. And I'm like,
Right.
oh man, I hope to get it, because I really, Thank You for Jokes is like one of my favorite, comedy things or whatever.
Right.
And what was the other one was my girlfriend's boyfriend or something like that. Like
Yeah.
I really like his way of telling jokes, and I really like his like storytelling or whatever. So I was like very excited to see him. And then I was just like, oh, I wonder if we were gonna be able to see him. And then there was like a big line or whatever, and then and then the line like split like in a way, and then like opened up, and then he was just like signing his things, and he like looked up and like looked at me, and then like I looked at him, I'm like, and then I like, but it was like an innocent but then like I did it, and then I looked at Steph and I was like, why did I just do that? Like that was like the most weird.
Well,
but it was just like a fan moment where I was just like, and I was
well,
like,
at least you did that. When I get too starstruck, I'm like, I'm just
yeah, I didn't. But then it's like weird, because then I went up and I'm like, oh, like then it's weird to be like, oh, I'm a comedian. So it's like,
oh yeah, like, no, yeah. When I met Steve Byrne, I didn't say anything. Yeah.
Anyway, but if you listen to this, Mike Birbiglia, there's a kiss. I do really enjoy you're one of my favorites or whatever. As a matter of fact, if you want to be on the podcast, please come on the podcast. It would be amazing. I have great guests like Davine, and you would be my biggest guest. I mean, Davine is very, very large, but Mike Birbiglia, I blow him kisses. I have not blown Davine a kiss, although we accidentally almost exchanged coconut oil.
Oh my God.
With our last hug. Oh, it put the kids in jeopardy. No, this has been,
we're good with coconut though.
So what do you got coming up next? Like, what is happening in your life? Like, where are you going next? Where can people see you next? What do you got coming up? What's big?
I'm at Davine DC on every social media platform. So I have about 2-3 shows a week in average. So I don't know, like there's just a lot of shows coming up. I'm excited to go to New York in October 14th. I haven't been since before the pandemic, so that's a show I'm excited about. Nice. It's going to be at the Botanical Garden in Queens, and it's a mom show. So since we're talking about parenting, it's momedy, so it's all mom comedians doing sets that night. So that should be fun.
Interesting, dude. Yeah. I have an interesting show idea. I feel like I should run it by you. I feel like we have like a very, very fun show. But I have an idea, and I think I'd like to talk with you about it and see what you think. But yeah, man, I can't wait. You got those cool shows coming up, and so do you have a name for like what you want to record if you do an album? Like,
I have tons of names, but I'm not going to say it here.
Okay, not going to do it. All right, tell me later. Tell me offline. We'll
not even.
Not even. But what if you want me to shoot it? What if you want me to do the thing?
Well, I didn't know you. I'll keep you in mind. I was looking for a shooter.
Yeah, to do that. I mean, I've done, like I said, I've done a couple, help some people out. I did the promo for old Mike B.
Yes.
I did like promos for his. He didn't actually do video for his but like the promo for his, and I got some other interesting ones coming up that I won't mention until it's like actually officially been announced.
Ooh,
but I got some other cool ones coming up, so hopefully that'll be a new thing. I'm really trying to be valuable to
you
comedy.
You're a huge contributor. You're like always hustling, always. Yeah.
But I felt so lazy through the pandemic. I felt like I was doing nothing.
That was the only time you could be lazy, like.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm one of the only assholes who got more productive during the pandemic, but that's just me.
Look at that. Look at you fluff your hair when you say it. Like, oh, I was just more.
This is false modesty,
Anyway, all right, we're gonna get together. We're gonna definitely do some type of a dinner or something.
I will feed your child. Yes,
I really, really appreciate it, and I will make sure that I'll give you whatever information that I have to make your thing be great if you want to.
You're a great promoter. I love all your teasers, and also that's good.
Thanks. I try to do my thing.
You're gonna almost convince me to take my special sooner than I thought.
There you go. I mean, we're not getting any younger. World War III could break out tomorrow.
Hey! You cannot leave this and calling me old at the end. You're not gonna get away with this. No.
I said we aren't like I meant me.
No.
Like, I'm not.
Yeah. All
You're
right. I'm not
obviously
part of that.
staying the same age or younger every time I see you.
I am forever 28. Yeah. Okay, like it's
you glow every time I see you. But yeah, man, we're gonna make this thing happen. But like World War III could break out at any moment, and that was the reason why I did like the thing that I put out, because I was like, well, I don't know if the world's going back to like what it was, so I'd at least like to have one thing that said I used to do this thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Instead of like bar clips or whatever, like have one thing that I like produce that is like that's out there. So
that's why I sculpt rocks. I have a rock sculpture. I did sculpting because I learned about Pompeii, and that's how we learn about that civilization. When the whole world exploded, what did you find? The ruins and rocks, and so that's why I have a sculpture. So if everything just explodes, there'll be something signed to be incurred.
Think about all the stuff that's on your like phone and everything. All that stuff, it goes away.
Yeah, that's gone. But my sculpture is gonna stay there.
They will not. Well, Davine, you will always be in our hearts. You'll be carved into our hearts. It's super awesome having you here. Thank you so much for
having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a super pleasure. And I can't wait to put this one out there, because I think there's a lot of great information. We talked about some allergy stuff. We talked about sculptures. We talked about all kinds of cool things. And I guess there's nothing left really to say except blurt that out.